There's no one more qualified to talk about incels than the Chad himself. Take a look at me. Already, at least 6 boyfriends hate me.
Up here at the 1%, it's pretty nice. Incels hate me because I'm taller than them.
And I also have a jawline. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite gay-looking straight boy, Hunter Avalone, here, back with another video. Now, the other day, I did a video on simps. Simps, suckers, idolizing, mediocre P-word. Yeah, we've been over it. These people who are so desperate and so obsessed with women, they're just absolute cringe. But incels are kind of just the second side to the same coin. Simps worship women and incels despise women, but they both completely idolize women. A lot of incels build their existence around being an incel, which is extremely unhealthy, and it really does breed misogyny, and it breeds loneliness for these guys who, they blame women for all of their problems. If they can't get a date, they think it's because women are all being stolen by the Chads, who are the top 1%, because they have a jawline or some weird shit. And late last year, I did a video talking about incels where I went a little bit in depth on what incels believe. So if you want more information on that, you should definitely check that video out. But as of today, we're going to be going over this clip of an incel answering some simple questions. Now, I know this video came out a little while ago, but I've been meaning to go over it, and I finally feel like I can actually do it, because I think I have some interesting things to say, because, again, look at me. Incels, take notes. So this is a video called I'm an Incel, Ask Me Anything, and in this video, this guy, who is our incel, sits down and answers questions anonymously. So first and foremost, I gotta say, the guy isn't that ugly. Let's be honest here. I mean, yeah, he could use some cleaning up, I suppose, but he's not really like this hideous, disgusting creature. However, he is kind of rocking the incel drip. He's got this mangy, really bushy looking hair. Doesn't look like he's brushed that in a really long time. I have literally not seen this type of shirt since I was like 4 years old, shopping at Babies R Us with my mother.
Hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel.
Hi, Derek. Incel. Okay, so we don't get a side view. Yeah? Do we have the incel chin? What do you guys think, huh?
So you're an incel?
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Alright, that's a reasonable response, so let's look at it with that context. This guy is here to try to give a better, more positive impression of what an incel looks like. So, take it away, buddy.
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who?
There have actually been some studies done that show that these incel boards are ridiculously misogynistic. And that's because, I mean, they are. Again, these people base their entire existence around disliking women and blaming women because they can't get laid.
What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
What? That face is exactly what I'm feeling right now, too. Look at this. This is every single incel's dream come true. He's up here on a show doing the Joker shtick. This guy really just unironically pulled the whole, we live in a society, maniacal Joker chuckle. Look at this shit. He is living the incel fantasy right now.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but I do think that, you know, men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Wait, hold on. So this guy's appealing to tradition now. He thinks that men should be the leaders and that women should be the caregivers. You know, you can be a leader and a caregiver. Those are not mutually exclusive things, my friend. A woman could be president and could be a leader and also be caring and loving. Also, the men who you say should be the leaders should also be loving and supporting and caring and teachers. So none of these things are mutually exclusive. So what you're really saying is you just think that men and women should have certain roles because that's how you feel like it is. I think I know why it is, but I don't want to spoil it yet. I think we'll wait till we get to it.
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past.
Hold up! This guy just went full... Wow, he did not hold back. 3 seconds ago, he was like, yeah, you know, I just want to be here to give a positive light to incels, man. I just want to show people that, you know, not all of us are a bad bunch, bro. And then all of a sudden, he's like, so yeah, you know, women, it's not like we want to literally enslave them, but it's just that they're like children, and we want to, you know, control them and keep them herded up like cattle and treat them like animals.
If we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
So he's saying with his way of thought, it would make things better for people because in a civilized, almost Christian way, which I have no fucking idea what that's supposed to actually mean, we would start sort of controlling women, sort of like how we control children. Why? First of all, just why? Doesn't that sound a little creepy? Because this guy's over here complaining about how he can't get laid and he wants to have sex with women and everything, and then he's also saying that women should be treated like children. Well, that's a little spooky. Second of all, he says that he thinks women would be happier this way based on the data he's seen. Now, I know what data he's talking about. A lot of the times it gets misconstrued. People will say things like, women used to be happier when they would stay at home with the children, and now that women are out working, they're not as happy anymore. When in reality, everyone is not as happy anymore because working in general is kind of a bummer, let's be honest. Both men and women are more unhappy at work. So again, it has nothing to do with women needing to understand their place or whatever. Finally, this is really defeating his point because he said he's coming on here to try to give a positive light to incels, and now he's up here advocating for controlling women in a loving Christian way, in some kind of a domestic way to make sure women know their place. Really creepy shit, dude.
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks, and that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people.
He's wrapping this up in this sort of nicely spoken way of saying things. Like, it doesn't sound as severe as what he's really saying right here. He's saying that because these areas that are more liberal are more okay with promiscuity, that creates higher standards in women, which makes it harder for people like him to get a date.
Withholding, that would sort of fix society.
Yeah, I suppose people were more traditionalists.
So again, it comes back to control. It comes back to this returning to tradition thing, which really just means back when women were almost obligated to sleep with you, back when women didn't have options, because back then a woman couldn't just pass you up because she finds you unattractive. It's about control, and it's about controlling women for your own benefit. That's what's so disgusting, selfish, and entitled about this.
Pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
You know, it's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs.
Remember at the beginning of this video, I talked about how simps and incels are actually really similar? Oftentimes, incels begin as simps, as those nice guy suck-ups. See, this guy just admitted that the years of rejection is what pushed him into inceldom. So oftentimes, these incel types sort of start out as simps, and then after they get rejected, time after time, they get pushed into this bitterness towards women.
Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that they someone that loves them and, you know, respects them as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. You know, they're an equal, you know, you're not like...
That's really, really broad. What does he mean by that? Everyone is entitled to someone who loves them as long as you show it in return. That could be taken in so many different ways. I don't think that you can say you're entitled to having someone who loves you necessarily. It's probably good for everyone to have someone like that in their life, but I think you really get into some yikesy territory when you start saying you're entitled to that, because what you're saying is that you're entitled to someone else having specific feelings towards you.
Mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
But I do think that a good amount of incels are partially a result of certain societal standards that we have on men. I like to describe this a lot like a box. Right now, we sort of have these expectations for what makes a man, for how a man should act, and I think that a lot of the times incels don't always fit that script, and that causes a lot of turmoil inside them as well. Now again, that doesn't mean incels are not responsible for some of their really disgusting views on women, of course. However, it is good to look at these sort of societal expectations that contribute to creating incels.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you know, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You know, you want to get a wife.
This guy could literally stop being an incel so quickly. Just drop the sexist bullshit beliefs. Drop the whole we need to control women, but in a nice Christian way. Just kind of like how we control children, you know? No biggie, guys. Get a haircut. Drop 10 pounds. Get a hobby, maybe. Don't have your world revolve around women, of course. And then, of course, if you're dealing with any depression or mental health issues, you should see a therapist about that. I don't know. I think that there are some steps you can take to try to escape being an incel. I don't think it's really as involuntary as they make it out to be. I think a lot of the times they think it's involuntary because they're so caught up in their own self-pity.
It's like, you know, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say, you know, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up. And
I hate to say it, man, but you haven't really helped disprove that. I'm glad to hear you've lost some weight. I'm glad to hear you're looking to get a job. That's great, of course. But throughout this video, you've said a lot that incels aren't like the way people think they are, but you're kind of acting just like how people think incels act. So there you guys have it. This is why I don't like incels. I can empathize with some of them, but I do not like them, and I think they need to drop the sexist bullshit, get a haircut, take care of yourself, and also be willing to acknowledge some of these societal expectations that are placed on men, and be okay with just defying those and owning up to who you are as a person. Anyway, please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. Remember, everybody, we live in a society